The average polar bear weighs an astonishing 1,000 pounds and has a bite force of around 1,200 psi. In comparison, a human being has a bite force of 160 psi. Plus, don't think about outrunning them because their top speed is 25 miles per hour, while the average running speed of a human is 8 miles per hour. That's about 3 times faster than you. Here comes the polar bear. Even David Attenborough, probably one of the most popular animal experts currently alive, said that polar bears are one of the rare animals on Earth that actively hunt humans. So if you ever go to the Arctic and see a polar bear in the snow, make sure to keep your distance. If they're underfed or malnourished, they'll look at you as a walking, talking piece of KFC. From 1870 to 2014, there were 73 documented cases of wild polar bears attacking a human. They resulted in about 20 human fatalities. Now, before you say that this is a small number, we'd like to point out that only a minuscule percentage of the people on the planet have seen a polar bear in the wild. So if you ever go to the Arctic, just make sure to keep your distance. Next up, we have snakes. Every year, there are 2.7 million people bitten by venomous snakes. Out of those 2.7 million, between 81,000 and 138,000 die a gruesome death. And if you took the number of amputations and disabilities these bites caused, it'd be 10 times that, or about 1.3 million cases. These are probably one of the most aggressive and most dangerous animals on this list. The people that are most prone to snake bites are children and agricultural workers. The reason snake bites are deadly is that it happens unexpectedly, and usually it's not the most poisonous snakes that are the most dangerous. Oftentimes, the less poisonous snakes, which are highly aggressive, have been known to cause more damage. Snake bites can have side effects ranging from paralysis, bleeding disorders, kidney failure, and limb amputation. Don't let the size of these saw-scaled viper fool you. They're a dangerous mix of aggressive, venomous, and irritable. Just one bite has more than enough venom to kill 6 people. And yes, they're responsible for more human deaths than any other snake in the world. Followed by the Japanese hornet. If we're talking about absolute jerks in the animal kingdom, then the Japanese giant hornet takes the cake. The reason for that's simple. They're so strong that one hornet is capable of smashing that like button just like you should if you haven't done so already. But no, in all seriousness, one Japanese giant hornet is capable of killing 40 honeybees per hour. And don't even get us started on humans. Giant Japanese hornets measure about an inch in length. Their nests are located underground, and farmers often accidentally unearth them while plowing the field. One hornet sting is not dangerous and won't be lethal to a human. However, when a farmer encounters these Japanese hornets, there may be hundreds upon hundreds of them inside the nest. They swarm their enemy and sting the farmer hundreds of times. Because of the pain of their venomous bite, rarely will a human survive a hornet attack. In Japan, around 40 to 50 people are killed every year by these hornets, and now they're spread throughout the world, and the biggest risk is not directly to humans, but to the European honeybee, a bee which has no defense mechanism against this colossal predator. And now come the tigers of CHOWOARTH. In eastern Kumaon, India, a mother tigress and her cub reigned over the 1,500 square mile region for 5 years. During this time, 64 people fell prey to these bloodthirsty animals. The tigress took down her first human prey and recruited her small cub to assist with the attacks. Because many people who survived an attack from the tigress and her cub died from injuries, some locals claim that the number of deaths is at least double the initial estimates. Regardless, Jim Corbett, a famous hunter, shot both of them and ended their tyranny. Don't forget about the deathstalker scorpion. About 3,000 people across the world die from scorpion stings every year. This places scorpions as one of the most dangerous animals in the world. However, not all scorpions have enough toxicity to kill a human. Only 2 species of scorpion have enough venom in their stinger to kill a child. The first one is the Brazilian yellow scorpion, and the second is the deathstalker scorpion. And it's the second one that people fear. They're responsible for the majority of deaths. Most adults need not worry as their venom isn't potent enough. But children and the elderly living in northern Africa and the Middle East need to be especially cautious about this yellow killer. Its venom contains a lethal dose of neurotoxins, which will cause anaphylaxis and potentially life-threatening allergic reactions to the venomous sting. Once stung, the individual will feel immense pain surging through their body. Antivenom does exist, but because of the anaphylactic shock and the blocking of the airways, there's only a short window of time to get the antivenom. And then we have the leopard of RUDRAPRAYAG. After having eaten 125 people in total, hunter and author Jim Corbett put an end to the reign of the leopard of RUDRAPRAYAG. Jim Corbett looked at the records and realized that the number of deaths was probably much higher than initially thought. There were unreported deaths caused by injuries during attacks, but it all began in 1918. In Benji village, India, the leopard took its first victim. From that point on until 1926, the leopard wreaked havoc on the locals. They were afraid to leave their homes at night, and it wasn't uncommon for the leopard to leap through windows, claw through mud walls, and break down doors. All that ended in 1926 when Jim Corbett shot the leopard to death. What about the lions of NJOMBE? Similar to the people from Benji village, the people of southern Tanzania were terrorized by a pride of about 15 lions. From 1932 to 1947, for 15 years, these man-eaters of NJOMBE dominated. The reason for all these killings was human intervention. You see, the British colonial government tried to control the outbreak of rinderpest virus, and they started killing zebras, wildebeest, and antelope. Because of the dwindling population of these species, the lions began hunting down humans. This pride moved during the night and hunted during the day, taking about 1,500 lives before the British game warden put an end to their massacre. Next comes the stingray. Imagine the stingray as a martial artist. Now imagine fighting this martial artist. You're given a sword and he's given a long rope with a poisonous blade tied at one end. Who do you think would win? Because that's exactly what a stingray actually is. They might look powerless, but their tail is the most dangerous part. They can not only swing it with a ferocious force, but it also has a bone stinger with jagged teeth at the end. That dagger-like stinger is capable of piercing through human flesh with ease. Every successful strike comes with a hefty dose of bacteria, which will infect the wound and make it even deadlier. And if you don't think a stingray is dangerous, we should tell you that Steve Irwin, known as the crocodile hunter, was actually killed by a stingray that pierced through his heart. We also have pufferfish. The pufferfish is not actively seeking to attack someone, it's just floating in the sea. But Japanese fishermen who caught the pufferfish learned that after careful preparation, this very poisonous fish can be eaten. So now a specialty called fugu is considered a delicacy among the elite. A chef must be trained for 10 years before they're allowed to serve fugu at their restaurant, and some of them will leave a small portion of the poison inside the flesh because they think it gives fugu a distinct taste and a tingling sensation on the tongue. Again, the menu clearly states that this fish is poisonous, so why people would pay to eat something that could kill them is beyond us. Of course, there's Gustav. Finally, we come to crocodiles. Gustav is a Nile crocodile from Burundi, East Africa. He's been seen in the waters of Lake Tanganyika and the banks of the Ruzizi River. Since 1955, Gustav has been striking terror into the hearts of men, women, and children. He's a notorious people eater who's said to have taken the lives of over 300 people. Eyewitnesses claim that this giant croc measures over 18 feet and weighs an astonishing 2,000 pounds. Some say the crocodile is over 100 years old, but official records state that Gustav is between 66 and 67 years old. Because of the local stories circulating around town, Gustav has received a myth-like status among the locals. There was a 2004 documentary called Capturing the Killer Croc, in which they tried to capture Gustav for the first time in history and study him. YouTube suggests you watch this video next.